All right, what's going on, guys? Brian Cole here. I'm thrilled to be a part of this webinar today with Hurdlr. Thank you so much, Sejad, for having me on today. And I'm going to be discussing the Uber Partner app. I'm going to kind of give a step-by-step tutorial so that you know how to navigate through the app so that when you start accepting trip requests, you know exactly what to do. And if you ever run into some problems or with your fares or with your riders, I can teach you exactly what you need to do inside the Uber Partner app so you know what to do and be prepared. So with that said, if you want to go ahead and grab your phone, I'm going to kind of be teaching from mine too, and we'll be displaying some phone screens so that you can also follow along. So I know that my phone probably won't be able to pick up quite as good as will on a screenshot, so we'll make sure you'll be able to follow along with what I'm doing. So if you have the Uber Partner app downloaded to your phone, go ahead and pull that out, and then you should see a screen similar to this, except with a different GPS map. Obviously, this displays where my current location is, but it should have your current location loaded on there. So we have an option up top and a big blue button that says Go Online. Just press that button, and you're logged in. It says you're now online. Then click the Go Offline to log off. And that's it. That's simple to go out, log in and log out. And then Uber provides some updates for things happening around Uber, or just some regular tips and strategies and advice here on the bottom menu. Let that focus in. There we go. So right down here, that gives some updates or some tips, strategies, advice. If you're a new driver, if you don't know, like say how Surge works, you can click on that article and it will give you some information about that. So here on the bottom part of the app, there's 4 different options. I'll put my phone back up here again so that you can follow along. If you can read that, it says Home, Earnings, Ratings, and Account. Home is the home screen where you can accept trip requests. Earnings is a tab where you can keep track of your earnings in real time, day by day or by week. And your ratings, you can see how your rating's doing right now. We'll get to that here in a second. And then finally, account options. So from the home screen, which is what we were on, there's really not much to it. I will point out one thing though. If you do want to have live traffic information displayed, all you have to do is click on the top right hand button with a little traffic light icon. Not sure that this will pick up, but I will zoom in here right there, right where my finger is. You'll just press that button and then you'll see some colors display, either green, yellow, or red, depending on how heavy traffic is in your area. Definitely useful during rush hour if you want to keep an eye on how the roads are, how backed up they are, and see if maybe possibly you want to take an alternate way. So like for example here, I'll pull up, see I'm in Cincinnati, Ohio, so I'm going to pull up Interstate 71 right now. As you can see, after I pulled up the live traffic, there's a lot of red there, which means there's a major backup. The darker the red means the more stopped the traffic is. And right now it's about 3:45 here on a Friday. So traffic's definitely going to be pretty heavy. So that's definitely something you want to keep in mind so that you know the alternate ways, so you can take an alternate way and not get stuck in that traffic. So other than that, we're going to go over to the earnings tab now. So if I click over from home to earnings, if you've driven any time this week, you'll see some numbers display. The first one is a bar graph. It will show you day to day, how your earnings are, how much money you've made. So I've only driven 2 days so far this week. So I'll go ahead and pull this up here. So I have $182 so far this week. Of course, I do Uber and Lyft, so I have a lot more Lyft earnings in addition to this as well. But then it'll show you, day by day how much Uber earnings you have. So that's great. Keep an eye on your progress and see how you're doing, meet your goals and, for how much money you want to make. And then if you click on estimated payout, it will give you a complete breakdown for your earnings by the fare, by surge, rider fees, and then your payout. Then you can view day by day and see your individual fares. So that's pretty cool that you can see all that information. You can see how many trips you completed, how many hours you've been online. So it keeps track of all of that information. So if you scroll down a little bit, There's a spot for invites, so if you have any family or friends that you know would be interested in driving for Uber, you can invite them via a text message or email. Sometimes in some markets offer some referral bonuses, so it's definitely a great way to make some extra cash if your market has that incentive. Then you can view trip history. If you've taken a trip, you'll see that button. If not, you won't see it. So like my last trip, my commission cut was $17.28. And then I can click on that and then kind of get a little overview on my trips. So that's pretty cool. You can see a little bit of map where you went. I can't display that information because it's private. So it's still a great way to keep track of your rides. And then on the bottom here, it says pay statements. You can see all of your pay statements that Uber has paid you out, so you can keep track of your earnings week by week. So the next part of the app that I want to go over here is the rating. So if we move our tab over from earnings to ratings and click on ratings, you can see your current rating as displayed here. Give that a second here to zoom in. There we go. So you can see that right now I'm 4.79. I've done 27 lifetime trips. I've had only 1797 rated trips. Now that's an important number there, because not every trip, as you can see here, is a rated trip. So your rating factors only for the people who actually rate you. So in this case, it would be, see, I can't even tell what that number is, 1797. And then of those 1797, 1481 gave me a 5-star. So obviously that's good. Most of my ratings are 5 stars. It should definitely be that way. And then if you scroll down, you can have a few more options like partner rewards. Uber offers a fuel card. It can help you save a little bit of money at the pump, depending on what location you're in. It's up to 15 cents a gallon. I know here in Cincinnati it's about 5 or 6, but in some other markets, which I believe are in California, you can get the full 15 cents. So that's definitely something you want to take advantage of. In order to qualify for that fuel card, you need to complete 200 trips a month. So this is pretty much for full-time drivers. Part-time drivers won't, for the most part, be eligible for that incentive, but it will keep track of how many trips you need to take in order to keep, either to get a fuel card or to maintain your fuel card. In this case, for me, it's to maintain my fuel card. It says here I need to complete 147 more trips this month to extend my fuel card through the month of February. And then the next button here is feedback. It will give you your most top reported issue. This is a way to help give you some feedback from riders. Maybe they didn't like something about your car, something, to keep in mind to improve. So for me, my top complaint is cleanliness, which I also find hard to believe since I detail my car every day, but that's fine. Someone didn't think, I kept my car clean. There was only one report in my last 500 trips. So, I didn't take that one too seriously, especially since the exact complaint here on the feedback is a cigarette smell. I've never smoked cigarettes in my life, nor have I let anyone smoke in my car. So, I didn't really take this one too seriously. But then on the feedback screen, if you go to the comments section of it, you can see 5-star comments that other passengers left for you. So it's a good way to see, what you're doing. If you get a lot of great feedback, then you're doing a good job. Like for instance, here I got some feedback like says, wonderful dude, excellent driver, was patient waiting a few extra minutes, and using Uber could not be any easier, very smooth driving, stuff like that. I could be reading comments for a long time since I've been, Uber full-time now for the last, getting close to 16 months now, so I have a lot of feedback that I've accumulated over that time. So it's a good way to see and keep track of how you're doing. And then if we go back, we can now see the top partners. So this is like a bar graph that kind of compares how you're doing with the top 20% of partners or drivers in your city. So here I got the top partners screen loaded up, and then there's some side-by-side comparison that you can do to see how well you're doing. So like my average rating is 4.79, but in my market, the top 20% is 4.84. And then average trips per week, average 5-star trips per week, and then average miles driven. For me, those 3 stats are going to be well more than the top 20% because I'm full-time. The majority of drivers who drive for Uber are only part-time. So like average trips per week for the top partners is only 33, where mine is 49 because I'm full time. And then average 5-star trips per week is 25 versus 18. And then here's the big one: average miles driven per week minus 653 versus 203 for the average part-time driver. So we'll go ahead and hit on the back screen here, and then the final button here on this one is some pro tips. If you want to sharpen your skills with expert advice on driving best practices, you can get a closer look on, like ratings, surge pricing, safety, 5-star recommendations, how to make good, not good pickups, perfect pickups and drop-offs, and other articles like that. So you can, check that out if you want to get some more advice from Uber. And then finally, the last tab that we want to go over is the account. And this probably is the most important part about this app, because this is where you can really customize and change some options here, or get help if you need to, which is very important, because I'm sure at some point you're going to need to you're going to have an issue with a rider, and this is where you go and report people, or report an issue, or request a cleaning fee or something like that. So this is the screen you want to do it. So it's under account. So I'll kind of hold my phone up here. So we had the home, earnings, ratings, and now we're on the account. So you have these options here. You see my picture. You can edit your profile, or if you have another car that you've approved to drive with Uber, mine says Toyota Prius right now because, well, that's the car I drive. But say I had another car that got approved with Uber to drive with, then all I have to do is just hit the change button, change to that car, and log back in. So if you need help with any rides, then hit the help button here is the first one. And then you can go under trips. Then all you have to do is select a trip, whichever one you want, which I'll just pick the top one here. And then you're given a whole list of options here as to what the issue possibly could be. So here we have, I picked up the wrong rider. I found an item in my vehicle. I had an issue with the fare. I had an issue with the rider. I received a citation. I was in an accident. Trip requests while still on the trip. Difficulty accepting trips on iOS 9. Those are for Apple devices. I had a different issue with my trip, or chat support. So there's all different options here. If your option's not listed here, you can just hit on either I had a different issue with my trip or chat support. Either one will work. So that's cool. All this, you don't have to email anybody. You can just go right through this app, fill in the options, and then support will typically get back to you. In my experience, it's usually pretty quick, within 5 or 6 hours, usually within 24. Very rarely is it more than 24 hours. They usually take care of this stuff pretty quick. So we'll go ahead and hit the back button here, back to the help screen. If you have, if you want to update your account settings, like your profile info, just hit on the account. And then payments, if you want to update like your bank account information, this is the screen to do it on. And if you have problems with your device with Uber, maybe it's not working properly, this is where you can go and get some help for that. And then how to use Uber, like the Uber 101 stuff, like fees, ratings, how are they calculated? How are acceptance rates calculated? All that stuff is within the help tab on how to use Uber. And then finally, if you want to like add a vehicle or update your license plate documents, vehicle details, insurance, just hit the vehicles button on the help screen, and you can get all your help through there. And now if you want to update your documents, you can just hit the document tabs. You can update either a background check, a driver's license, personal vehicle insurance, or vehicle registration. And here, if you want to have some settings, there's some nice, actually, so a few cool settings here. Let me load this up here on the screen. So you can change your navigation provider. You can, because I'm on Android, I can use either Google Maps or Waze. I can show the traffic on the map, although I showed you earlier that you can do that right from the home screen. And then there's a new option, customizable, for surge pricing. You can have the app inform you if a surge goes above a certain rate in areas that you frequently drive in. So that's kind of cool, so that you can get on the road if there's surge pricing near to where your current location is. So that's pretty cool. And with that said, I believe that is it as far as the partner app. Of course, we're going to edit this presentation so that we can have screenshots of all the things that I just detailed. I know sometimes the webcam is a little bit difficult to pick up, but yeah, if you have any questions, go ahead and put those in the question box. Sajad and I will be very happy to answer your questions. And now we're going to transition to the next part of the webinar, where Sajad is going to talk about rideshare tax information and the Hurdlr app. So with that being said, Sajad, take it away.
All right, thank you, Brian. Today we're going to talk a little bit about how to properly track your rideshare finances, saving you time and money. There's a lot involved that we'll go over today, and if you have any questions afterwards, you can always reach me at sajad@hurdlr.com. You'll also get a copy of these slides and any other material we went over as well. One of the first things you want to do as a rideshare driver when you're dealing with your finances is that you want to track everything. And what I mean by tracking everything is that every expense that you incur, every bit of income that you receive, and any receipts that you have, you want to track. You want to make sure that it's all located in one place and that you can easily manage them. Alongside that, you want to make sure that you do not commingle funds. What I mean by not commingling funds is that you want to keep a separate bank account and a separate card for your rideshare earnings and expenses. The reason for that is that when you want to track everything, you'll save a lot of time and you'll save yourself the headache by just making sure that there is one bank account and one credit or debit card associated with your rideshare finances, so that when you look through your statement, you know that everything within that statement and everything within that bank account is associated with rideshare. Alongside that, you'll want to make sure that you automate your entire process. So automate everything that takes time out of your day so that you can spend more time making money on the road and less time managing your day-to-day. The best way to automate your finances is to use Hurdlr. Hurdlr allows you to automatically log your miles and deductions, provides you real-time tax estimates and reminders, which you won't find in other mobile finance apps, and it connects with your Uber, your Lyft, and Postmates, and all other on-demand work. You can even use it for freelance work. So if you receive any type of 1099-based income anywhere else outside of rideshare, Hurdlr allows you to track all of that, and it gives you accurate tax estimations and finance estimations that you can use to better prepare yourself when you're getting ready to file taxes and know how much you're truly making. The next thing you want to do is plan. Make sure that you plan for taxes with your accountant. And what I mean by that is that you want to have a sit down with your accountant or a accountant and understand everything that you need to track and manage in order to be better prepared for tax season. Your accountant will be able to tell you all of the details of your finances and how you can lower your taxes and make more money. And your accountant may even help you a little bit with the Hurdlr app. What we've noticed on our end is that a lot of accountants really like Hurdlr because the app allows you to manage all of the tiny little details of your finances and then present it all at the end of the year or at the end of the quarter whenever it's time to do your taxes by just exporting the report out to your accountant. You can export it and email it to yourself. You can also email it to your accountant or save it to one of your local storage providers like Google Drive. You can also utilize the Hurdlr Rideshare Tax Guide, which was written by our in-house CPA, and some of the tax webinars that we've done in the past. Those will also be provided to you via email, and you can check us out at hurdlr.com/blog to read all of that content. One of the things that I always recommend and that I've heard a lot from CPAs is that you should always pay quarterly taxes and not at the end of the year. The reason for this is that you're responsible for paying your own taxes, so you have to do your own tax estimates and you have to set aside money to pay the government. If you pay at the end of the year, you're going to be stuck with a large sum of money that you're going to have to pay. But if you pay quarterly, you can break it down into quarter payments. We have a bit of bonus content that we're going to be giving you for this webinar, which I think you're going to like very much. We have the Hurdlr Rideshare Finances and Tax Guide written by our in-house CPA, which is a really nice in-depth PDF that you can look through and it'll help get you started in the right direction. And then we'll also send you our video that we did with Steven Zellen. He's known as the Seeing CPA, and he's based out of New York City. The topic of the webinar is understanding your Uber 1099, and Steven really goes in depth analyzing 1099 income and tells you what you need to watch for. That's all the time we have for today. If you wanted to reach out to us, you can email me, sajat@hurdlr.com, and you can reach out to Brian via his YouTube page. You can also look for additional content online at hurdlr.com/blog or on Brian Cole's YouTube page at youtube.com/user/Cole Brian J. Thank you.